Students, in the last class we learned regarding the SN2 mechanism. Okay, so SN2 base hydrolysis of octahedral complex. Today we'll go for SN1. That is the new concept here, that is a conjugate base mechanism. Okay, in the last class we had learned regarding the SN2 mechanism, okay, of base hydrolysis. So here is very important here, conjugate base mechanism is been seen here in SN1 mechanism of the base hydrolysis, and it was first proposed by the scientist named Garrick. Okay, so what is this base conjugate mechanism, base conjugate? See here in the first step, okay, the amine complex. So we have taken one complex here, CONH3 5 pentamine chlorocobalt here, okay, plus 3 complex, and here the base, okay, base when it is been introduced. So what will happen, the rate of reaction, so you get a conjugate base here. So see here, so you are going to get a conjugate base here, so where one of the amine is been one hydrogen is been protonated, is removed by this, and you are going to get NH2Cl like this, and this is called your conjugate base of amines. Here this OH minus is taking one of the proton from base from this NH3, and you are going to get that this has been protonated here now, so like this. So you are going to get a ligand here, NH2 ligand in the present, that's we call it as a base, conjugate base of amine, and H2O. So this will take proton and it is going to form the water molecule. So this is called the conjugate base amine. This is a one important concept in the SN1 mechanism. And that's why in the previous video what we said, that SN2 mechanism, why only OH, why not NCS or thiocyanate or azide N3 minus could do the same work here. So this is the reason why they cannot act as a nucleophile, because SN1 has showed that, proved that, because the base should be such that it has to remove one of the proton from this ligand, but these fail. Other ligands like NCS minus, thiocyanate or N3 minus, so they fail to or NO2 minus, they fail to abstract the proton from this, and that's why this is how the SN1 mechanism proves why SN2 is only preferring from OH, preferring for the OH minus ion here. So this is the first step. Now in the second step you can see here, so because CB, now what is happened here, so NH2 is being formed here, and what is the main role, what does this act, NH2? So NH2 contains a ligand here, so okay, it's a very good ligand which is termed as a pi acceptor. NH2 is termed as a pi acceptor ligand, and what will happen, it will bond with, now pi bond with the, it will form the pi bond with the cobalt. Okay, so it will accept the electrons, okay, the pi electrons from the metal ions, and they form a very good pi bond, the pi bond, forming the 5 coordinated intermediate. So see here, so this is what happens here. So they are having the accept like this, okay, acceptor, and this what will happen, so they are going to accept the electron from this, and they are going to form a pi bond, and a very good phi, and because of this what will happen, so this Cl minus which is attached to this cobalt is free to leave now, okay, and that's why we get what, 5 coordinated intermediate like this NH2, and this becomes a very stable slow reaction, and we get the very stable 5 coordinated complex with the leaving group. Best the Cl minus is been left out. Now what will happen in next step, now see, so dissociation is over. The next step is this 5 coordinated, whatever we got here intermediate, now will react with the incoming water. Hydration is going to happen here, water molecule, okay, and what will happen, and the reaction is fast, and we can see that the OH group is been introduced to form the hydration here. So reaction is fast here, and we got this base hydrolysis. So we got the base hydrolysis compound complex here, and whatever the initial NH3 was there, so we got the same NH3 5OH. Okay, so this is how we can see that, and in this mechanism we see that it involves the acceptance of proton from water now. Okay, so there is acceptance of the proton from the water by the NH2. Okay, acceptance of proton by the water from the NH2. So whatever this was left here, so this NH2 will accept now the proton from the water molecule, and the rate of reaction in this is been to the complex. So here the main dependent on the complex here. Okay, so this is what, that's why we call it as a SN1 mechanism, SN1 conjugate base mechanism. In SN2 the rate of reaction depends on what? The concentration of the complex plus the concentration of OH minus ion, but it is independent. At higher concentration this is independent, and SN2 may also act as what? SN1, first order reaction at the higher concentration of the OH minus. In the last video we have seen this. Okay, so and this is what I said, and we'll go one note you can have here, that for many complexes, see, for any of the complexes to hydrolyze to SN1, Cb must, this is the note. Okay, if any base hydrolysis has to happen here, so you have to see that the complex should form a conjugate base here. So that means it should have one acidic hydrogen. The complex must have one acidic hydrogen, then only the SN1 is possible. Conjugate base is should and must here. Okay, and for the conjugate base, what is the necessity here? That the complex should have one of the acidic hydrogen. Now you see one example I have taken: bromide, means cobalt 3. Okay, bromido cobalt 3, and here iodido. Okay, cobalt 3, iodo cobalt 3 complex. So you can see here the hydrolysis is slow here. Okay, the hydrolysis is slow. Why the hydrolysis is slow here? Why the hydrolysis is slow here? Because you can see here, so there is no as such acidic hydrogen in this. Okay, and to get the yield of CO's hydration here, that is COCN5 OH, to get this is very difficult, and the rate of hydrolysis is independent of the OH minus concentration. Okay, so it does not depend on the OH minus. So what does this indicate? This indicate that hydrolysis is not proceeding to SN1. Okay, this shows that this complex is hydration is happening here, but they are not on the route, they are not proceeding with the SN1 mechanism, and the rate of reaction is a little bit slow here. Okay, this is what we can, and they may follow the SN2 path. They may follow the SN2 path independent of the OH concentration. So this is what. Similarly, even if the complexes they have the hydrogen, so here I have not taken the hydrogen, but sometimes if I take now instead of this, if I take NH3, okay, instead of Br, if I take here NH3, what will happen? You may say that yeah, this is having now hydrogen, but this hydrogen is fixed, they are not released easily. Okay, or some of the complexes which do not contain hydrogen now. Okay, so removable hydrogen, so the hydrogen which cannot be removed, like here one example I have taken: iron pentacyanoamine, amine pentacyano iron 3 complex. So what will happen here? Iron 2 complex here. So what will happen is here there is no conjugate base formed here. Why? Because yes, though NH3 group is here, so but hydrogen is not easily removed here, not removable here, and that's why it finds to be difficult for conjugate base formation. Though it is having, but it finds very difficult to form the conjugate base here, and so this also is not possible. SN1 reaction is not possible for this complex, and the hydrolysis is independent of the OH minus concentration, and this may undergo also SN2 mechanism. So that's why one important thing here is that the whatever the NH3 group is is here, hydrogen is here, it should be acidic in nature. That means it can be easily removed or protonated, then only it is possible, otherwise it is not. Now one more, so SN2 reactions. So one note we can see here, that in most of the observed that for all the reactions occurring through SN2, the better nucleophile is HO2 minus. Okay, so what is this HO2 minus? So it is a hydroperoxyl radical. HO2 minus, it's a hydroperoxyl radical, and it is a better nucleophile than OH minus. Okay, most of the cases where the reaction proceeds through SN2. So what is this hydroperoxyl radical? So, okay, hydroperoxyl radical, so it is obtained from the H2O2 peroxide. So when you treat this peroxide in the presence of OH, already it will be there in the SN2. So you are going to yes, we are going to release this HO2 hydroperoxyl radical, and now the rate of SN2 reaction will be hydrolysis of this rate of base hydrolysis will increase. Now the base hydrolysis will increase, and SN2 reaction becomes very fast here. So that's why if we go through the path of we want SN2 reaction, it's better to put a little H2O2, so that when we put H2O2 peroxide, so HO2 minus this has been liberated, protonated form of superoxide, protonated form of the superoxide. So this is what the protonated form of the superoxide, we got HO2 minus, and the rate of the base hydrolysis increases. But in some cases, what happens, we see that if the rate of hydrolysis decreases even after adding of H2O2, So what happens that that means what there is a CB mechanism here. Even after adding of H2O2, if the rate of base hydrolysis decreases, it is seen that the SN1 mechanism, CB mechanism is operative, is going on there, and the OH minus is going to be protonating this one, and it is going via SN1 mechanism. So this is how we can come into conclusion. Okay, and it is dependent on the concentration of the complex, because some of the OH minus ion is converted to HO2 ion, but CB conjugate base is produced here, and that's why even if adding of peroxide, if the reaction proceeds, then we can say that the SN1 may be, or the base hydrolysis, if it decreases on addition of H2O2, then we can see that there is a conjugate base formation possibility, and the reaction may proceed through SN1. Otherwise, if the reaction is very fast, the base hydrolysis, if rate of hydrolysis is fast, so what will happen in presence of H2O2? That means what? It is proceeding through SN2 magnet. This is what we can conclude. So this is how in today's class we learned regarding the SN1 base CB conjugate base mechanism. Okay. So in the next class we'll see the another concept, substitution reaction in square planar complexes. Thank you.